Have you ever had a dream so vivid you knew it was real? Or avoided danger because you listened to that voice in your head? Have you simply thought of someone and out of the blue they call you? What is deja vu? What do the origin of life, the universe, meditation have to do with one another? Can our body naturally heal from disease? Have I lived other lives before, and is it possible those lives are affecting me now? What we call good and bad, negative and positive, are really a natural synchronicity initiated by our own Creator, bringing our lives into a harmonious balance. This is the rhythm of life. Hello family, I greet you in love and light. You're watching The Rhythm of Life and I am your host, Sophia. We have a wonderful guest visiting us today all the way from New York. He is a hypnotist and healer, Mr. Andi Sway. Thank you so much, Andi, for sharing your time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Yeah. Now you've spent many years traveling pretty much all over the world. You speak 4 different languages. And obviously at some point your road led to spiritual healing and hypnotism. Tell us a little bit about your road to that.
Well, I had an amazing spiritual teacher at age 14 that really set the bar high for everything. And
wow.
But astrologically in my chart, it's all about either foreign travel or spirituality, philosophy. So I kind of kept bouncing between the spirituality thing and the foreign living and other languages, other countries, and finally came into, I was doing a PhD in Middle East politics.
Wow.
I was 6 years into that program. And then a friend came and gave me a healing, and it was amazing. And I said, where do you learn this?
Wow.
So 2 weeks later, I took my first healing course. And at the end of that, I knew I was quitting the PhD program and becoming a healer.
And taking a different path. Wow.
Absolutely changed everything right there.
And in that, you've kind of come up with your own philosophy called Transformatalogy.
Right.
Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about that, but first I want to show a short clip from your website.
Okay, great, thanks.
You are such a baby. Is that a compliment? Or is that a criticism?
So Andi, in this video you talked about being called a baby with your own little twist. Tell us a little bit more about what you mean by that.
Well, the thing is, the transformatology is all about your core, what I call your core frequency.
Okay.
Okay, so if you imagine that you have a soul frequency, if you have a certain energy that your soul's all about, but then you have another energy that your body, your lifetime, the lifetime that you've come into. When you combine them, right, you have a certain mission in life, you have certain talents that serve that mission, and you're born with that. And then what happens is, so when you're a baby, you have all of that. Then you start getting conditioned. You start getting, you know, whatever happened with the parents.
Condition, you mean our upbringing,
Upbringing,
society.
Getting picked on. Were you the oldest? Were you the middle child? Were you the youngest? Boy, girl?
There was 7 kids in our family, so I understand.
Yeah, right? So that all of these things have an impact. And then what happens is when you get older, you find that these things are in your way. Certain insecurities, certain beliefs that you have, and people get stuck in that.
So you mean like, do we always know they're in our way? Like, do we need help?
No, most people just think that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And most people aren't going, they're not on a big healing, transformative
I read
path.
somewhere that it's almost like when we're in our 40s that we start realizing that that something is blocking us.
Well, I think we always realize it.
Yeah.
You're a little kid, and you want what you want,
Yeah.
and your parents don't give it to you right away. And if they did all the time, you'd be spoiled anyway, you know. So it's a balancing act. But the thing is, what I believe is that your desire at the core is right. Okay? And without all of the conditioning that people have, they would have their talents, their desires would lead them to what they need to do, and they would do it. And so, but we've been programmed by our families, by society, by the educational system, by TV, the media.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
I know we're here, but that's a big one.
Right. Yeah. So, to go in and find, on the one hand, what the soul mission is, what the life mission is, and then to clear the things that get in the way of it. That's my job. That's
so
transformatology.
in transformatology, you're helping people clear that path to get to their soul's destiny.
Right.
Okay. You're also what's called a level 3 QHHT practitioner.
Right.
I know that's interesting.
That's a lot of
quantum healing
hypnosis technique.
So tell us a little bit about that and how you found your way to being a hypnotist and under QHHT. Tell us a little bit about what that is.
So I already had been a healer for about 12 years.
Okay.
And I thought I was just going to go into teaching. And my girlfriend at the time said, I think there's one more thing you're going to learn.
Yeah.
And at first I was resisting that idea. But then I found this book called The Convoluted Universe, Volume 1 by Dolores Cannon.
Dolores Cannon, okay.
And I started reading that book and it blew my mind.
Wow.
I mean, it was basically transcripts of past life regression hypnosis sessions that she'd done. So, it was ancient Egypt, it was other planets, it was...
And there's a lot of people that experience the past lives. Yeah. I know I felt that as well.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough to have a session with you a few months ago. It changed my life. You're a wonderful hypnotist. I can attest to that. It was a lot of fun. It took a lot of time. Explain to me a little bit about the process, how you prepare for a session like that to put someone under the hypnosis, and then what you do to help them prepare.
Well, one thing is the sessions are 5 hours long, 4 to 5, but they usually go the full 5.
Yeah.
So we talk for a couple hours, get you prepared that way. And one thing is people have a lot of misconceptions about hypnosis. They think it's this wild, altered state, that it's not.
Yeah.
That you feel very awake a lot of times while you're in there, right?
Yeah,
and
did. I felt myself kind of over to the side.
Right. It's like you're observing yourself talking almost,
yeah, it was a really different experience.
Yeah. The thing is, the basic idea is your higher self is not somewhere else. It's here.
Yeah,
okay?
with you.
It's always with you. It's not even another thing, right? It's just part of the spectrum of your consciousness. And we have been trained by society, by religion, by all kinds of things to not pay attention to that part of ourselves. And something seems to be going on with humanity where we're waking up to that.
Okay, well, let's take a minute because I brought a couple clips of my session with you.
Oh, great.
So let's take a minute and look at that first clip now.
Excellent.
Now we're moving forward to a completely different time and place. We're moving forward to the next most significant time and place that Sophia needs to experience. The most significant time and place that Sophia needs to experience today. And now you're coming there, and now you've arrived. I want you to look around and tell me, What does this place look like? Excuse me?
It's bright.
Bright, okay. And what do your hands look like in this bright place?
I don't think I have a body.
Mm-hmm. Notice. Just
feel like air.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Feels warm.
Mm-hmm.
Now that whole experience under the hypnotism was about 2 hours, but to me, it was so brief. Like, I didn't feel like I was out for 2, and I wasn't really out. Like I said, I was kind of set to the side.
Right.
And I just kind of felt someone just letting it flow.
Mm-hmm.
And in that particular segment, you were guiding me. You did a wonderful job of asking open-end questions. Tell me what your goal is in doing that, in the verbiage that you use, and how are you guided to know what to ask a client?
Well, a lot of it is the training, and like you say, open-ended questions.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to lead you to a certain conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of taking it slow, letting it come out, and trusting, like I said, your higher self is already there.
Yeah.
And so if I just keep asking the questions, the information will come out. And and when you let your conscious mind be to the side rather than getting involved in it,
Right.
then it flows easily.
So real quickly, just in case we do have some viewers that aren't familiar with higher self, conscious mind,
Okay.
give us a brief explanation of what those two things are. First the higher self and then the conscious mind.
Okay. Well, the conscious mind is your identity, what you think you are, your thinking
So
self.
what I'm thinking with every day.
Right.
I'm
You're
going
walking
to work,
around.
I'm going to school, I got to get up, I got to go to work. Am I going to pay the rent? Is it, okay.
Right. And that idea that you have of me, of I, right? And then your higher self is the part of you that remembers all your past lives, knows who you are on a soul level because it is you. One of the interesting things is that one higher self could have multiple lives going on at the same time on Earth.
So we're all connected in that.
We're all connected. The higher selves know each other, and it's connected to other realms that we can't even imagine.
Wow.
And you can kind of ask it anything, and it'll answer.
It'll answer. Is it kind of like the voice you hear in your head when you are about to do something, maybe you know you shouldn't, and it's saying, don't do that?
It's
Or
very,
it's the voice
yeah,
guiding
that's probably
you.
it. Mm-hmm.
Maybe the voice guiding you sometimes, it says, turn left. And
Right.
you go and turn right anyway, like why?
Exactly.
So it's kind of that voice you hear.
And the thing with the higher self, with guides, with angels, with any of that stuff that's above us, you have to ask.
Okay.
You have to ask for help. They cannot interfere.
They won't infringe.
No, they can kind of give you that nudge, turn left.
Yeah.
But they can't, they can't turn the wheel for you.
Okay.
They can't take over your body and make it turn left.
Okay. So while you're guiding me and talking to me or to your clients, what's guiding you? How do you know what to ask? Because you did one for myself and for my husband.
Right.
When I watched them, they were so different. Like I experienced a couple, maybe 2 or 3 different experiences, 2 lives,
Right.
some other things, whereas he was kind of guided through one very significant one. So what guides you in that?
Well, what guides me really is the client's higher self. Because the client's higher self, and I don't know how it does it, right? It picks what lifetime you're going to see. And it picks what days of that lifetime you're going to see.
Okay.
So generally we go through 2 lives. We go through the death process, People come out of their body, they look at the body. I'll ask, well, what's your feeling now that you're out of the body and you're looking at that body?
Wow.
And it's really interesting, Some people say, oh, I feel sorry for that. And it was like, 30 seconds ago, they were that person.
Right.
Right? Now they're
Right.
out of it and thinking, oh, poor guy.
Right.
You know?
Right.
A lot of times they'll say, oh, I didn't realize I was that old.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
And
Tell me a little bit about the most interesting experience you had doing this.
oh,
If you
there's
could pick
so
one.
many. There's so many. I had one woman who went to this past life where she was kind of like a diplomat in a planetary system
Wow.
where there were 5 inhabited planets with intelligent beings on them. And she's describing each planet, their ecosystem, what the beings look like, how they lived, you know.
Wow.
And it was in such detail, and she never messed up of the 5 different ones. And I was getting, I was.
You're going back and forth between.
I was getting
yeah.
confused between
Yeah.
them. She's like, no, this planet they don't eat that, and this planet they don't have that animal. And
Wow. Wow.
one thing that's really interesting with these people with past lives from other planets, of all the descriptions of the planets, they don't sound as nice as Earth.
Oh.
Earth has much more biodiversity.
Wow.
They'll have like 3 kinds of animals, and they'll have 1 kind of plant they eat, and
So
that's
this
it.
is
And,
prime real estate.
this
we
is
live on.
amazing. Yeah, it's just really not that
Yeah.
I mean, on an experiential level, very interesting.
Wow.
Because other planets, they know who they are, they remember their past lives, they know why they're
right.
there.
Here on Earth, we have a veil.
We have a veil.
We don't remember.
Right, but the veil's lifting.
It is lifting,
Yeah.
and that's fortunate. I feel mine lifting. Mm-hmm. And meditation helps with that.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we have a short station break. We'll be right back. This episode of The Rhythm of Life has been brought to you in part by Buca di Beppo, serving delicious Italian cuisine in Old Town Pasadena. And also by the Motel Music Media, delivering quality music to radio, television, and film for over 25 years.
After all that we've been through, you still wanna let me down. I keep giving it to you. You think I know by now. You would think I know better. Just by the way that you get down. You do my heart like whatever. You would think I know by now. With you, girl, I think of you every day and every night. It's the things you do that drives me wild. And they all be hating if they want my baby. So fine, so fly, so fine. I don't give a damn. But I hit the floor. She really put me down. She tried to get me. She tried to stick me for my paper. She turned out to be a flaker. She hurt my heart. I really hate her. Now I gotta erase her. Scratch her name right off the list and try to act like she didn't exist. I feel like brand new paper, 'cause I had to erase her. But I just gotta keep it real with you. How you be looking when you be kicking it. You're always bumping. Every time I see you, don't know what to do. Can't get enough of you. Baby, you're the truth. Yeah. You don't have to go away. Girl, I changed my evil ways. Anything I gotta say to make you stay, to make you stay, to make you stay. Again, again. Every time I say that I'm sorry, nothing changes. So I guess I need another word. Girl, I need another word. So many times I know that I hurt you. I can't apologize. Sorry won't do. 'Cause I need another
Welcome back, family. You're watching The Rhythm of Life. I am your host, Sophia, and thank you again for sharing your energy with us today. Again, I'm here with hypnotist and healer Andi Sway. But before we get back into our conversation about my hypnotism, I want to go ahead and show this second clip.
It was like a mother, father, oath.
Good. And
Like a protector.
right, let it happen. Let it happen even more. Let it move you. Let it happen. Breathe and let him
My
in.
father.
Let him in. What's he saying?
He's telling me that everything is okay. Let's stop worrying so much. He keeps saying stop worrying so much. Everything is okay.
And what's his attitude? Is
He's so happy.
he's happy?
Yeah.
So he's not scolding you?
No,
No.
he's just wondering why.
He's not mad at you?
No.
Okay.
Tell me I'm doing fine.
What does he think about you not getting this?
Like it's silly.
That's what I want you to feel. I want you to feel how silly he sees it as. Try to see it his way for a moment.
That was such an emotional time for me. I could not believe that I actually heard and felt my dad. My dad transitioned from here, from this dimension in 2008. And so I just was overcome with emotion when he was there. And it wasn't like you sitting here. It's more of a feeling and a knowing. That's the only way I can explain it. So I mean, you helped me a lot because I feel like my life changed tremendously since then. I felt my dad all the time, but you were able to bring him through for me in such a different way in that hypnotism that I know he's here and I know how to feel him now. So I really, really appreciate that healing for me.
Well, thanks, but I didn't bring him through really, right? Because I couldn't make him come through if he didn't want to.
Well, you
and
were,
if you didn't receive it, so it's
you
fun
were the
to facilitate.
mediator.
Yeah,
You were the mediator for us.
it's a fun thing to do, and a lot of times that'll happen. People will ask for if they can talk to their mom, their dad, somebody who's passed, and the great thing about it is that the person is a totally evolved being.
Right.
Compared to what they were when they were in your life.
Yeah, because I felt such power and light and warmth. And it wasn't, my dad was a strong man. He worked hard, you know, he was a handsome, tall, 6'4" man. But this was so much power and light.
Right.
It's the only way I can put it into words, really. I felt I have an older brother that transitioned also that same year, a little later.
Right.
And I felt him there with him as well. And that was so intense for me because these were not religious men, you know, they weren't in church or anything like that. But to feel their power coming from the source of all of us, it just confirmed so much for me.
Right.
So how do you, for our viewers that are interested in finding some kind of guidance in spirituality, how do you suggest they go about finding a healer or a teacher or someone that can kind of, you know, nudge them? Because we all have it in ourselves to find what we need.
Absolutely.
But sometimes we need a person that is just more versed and more trained to kind of help us on our way. How do you suggest they choose someone like a healer like yourself or anyone?
Well, a lot of times when you start looking, when you go out there, you're going to be drawn to the thing that's right for you.
Yeah.
For the person that's right for you. And as you grow, you might find that you go that you're done with that person and you move on.
Okay.
And what I say is, don't get stuck in beliefs,
Okay.
right? Be in the actual experience of whatever it is, right?
Be in the moment.
People want to, because of religion, we have this thing of, well, we have to pick something to believe in.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I don't think that's really necessary. You need to experience.
You got to experience it for yourself. Okay. Well, Andi, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you sharing your time and your energy with me and with my viewers today. You can contact Andi on his website at andisway.com. You can find me on Instagram at iSophiaM, or you can email me. All that should be on the screen. I want to show my appreciation for Pasadena Media. I leave you all in the grace and peace of all that is.